Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Emission experiment. Four containers were filled with warm water. Which container would have the warmest water after 10 minutes? First one is shiny metal, second one is dull metal, third one is dull black, and the fourth one is shiny black. The shiny metal container would be the warmest after 10 minutes because its shiny surface reflects heat radiation back into the container, so less is lost. The dull black container would be the coolest because it is the best at emitting heat radiation. Absorption experiment. The dull black container would be the warmest after 10 minutes because its surface absorbs heat radiation the best. The shiny metal container would be the coolest because it is poorest at absorbing heat radiation. Radiation question. Why are houses painted white is hot in hot countries? Because of their absorption of heat radiations. White reflects heat radiation and keep the house cooler and absorb the minimum heat radiation. Why are shiny foil blankets wrapped around marathon runners at the end of the race? The shiny metal reflects the heat radiation from the runner back in. This stops the runner getting cold. Steady versus transient heat transfer. Steady means no change with time, transient means change with time. Steady and transient heat conduction in a plane wall. Here is an example of steady and transient heat transfers. Thermal contact resistance. The thermal contact resistance will be greater for rough surfaces and because an interface with rough surface will contain more air gaps, those whose thermal conductivity is low. Here is a formula of thermal conductivity which is RC is equal to 1 over H is equal to delta T interface over Q over A. The thermal contact resistance can be minimized by applying thermal grease such as silicone oil, a better conducting gas such as helium or hydrogen, a soft metallic foil such as thin silver, copper, nickel or aluminum. Thermal contact resistance is significant and can even dominate the heat transfer for good heat conductors such as metal, but can be disregarded for poor heat conductors such as insulations. Thermal contact resistance. Layer 1 and layer 2. Layer 1 interface. The temperature distribution and heat flow lines along two solid plates pressed against each other for the case of perfect and imperfect contact. Introduction. Heating, ventilating and air conditioning HVAC is a huge field. HVAC system include a range for the simplest hand-stoked stove used for comfort heating to the extremely reliable total air conditioning system found in submarines and space shuttles. History. In 1851, Dr. John Gorey was granted US patent 8080 for refrigeration machine. Cooling. The New York Stock Exchange in 1902 was one of the first comfort cooling systems. Comfort cooling was called air conditioning. Scope of modern HVAC. Greenhouse gas emission and the destruction of the Earth's protective ozone layer are concerns that or simulating researches. Energy conservation is an ongoing challenge to find novel ways to reduce consumption in a new and existing building without compromising comfort and indoor air quality. Air conditioning, when properly used, now means the total control of temperature, moisture in the air, or humidity, supply of outside air for ventilation, for filtration of airborne particles, and air movement in the occupied space. There are seven main processes required to achieve the full air conditioning. Here is example of air conditioning system. Seven main processes required to achieve the air conditioning system: heating, cooling, humidification, dehumidification, heating. There are seven main processes required to achieve full air conditioning. First one heating, second one is cooling, third one is humidifying, fourth one is dehumidifying, fifth one is cleaning, sixth one is ventilation, and the seventh one is air movement. Basic air conditioning system. Here is a basic of a air conditioning system shown in figure, which is called air conditioning plant. Outside air come in mixing chamber, then filter through a filter, then pass through heating coil and heated up. In next step, this heated air is cooled in a cooling coil. After that, this air is passed through humidifier, and finally this air pumped through a fan. Choosing an air conditioning system. Building design. If there is a very little space for running ducts around the building, and all air system may not fit in the available space. Location issue. Site condition, peak summer cooling conditions, summer humidity, peak winter heat condition, wind speed, sunshine, or typical snow accumulation depth. Utilities, availability, and cost. The choice of system can be heavily influenced by available utilities and their cost to supply and use. Indoor requirements and load. Thermal and moisture load, outside ventilation air, zoning. Client issue. Building cost money to construct and to use. Therefore, the designer has to consider the client requirement both for construction and for in-use cost. Cold refrigerating space. Refrigeration. Heat flow is directed refrigeration. Heat flow is in the direction of decreasing temperature, that is for temperature to that is for high temperature to low temperature region. The transfer of heat from low temperature to high temperature requires the refrigeration or heat pumps. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.